Hello and welcome, Halo fans. We are here. We are live. The HSEL Spring League Major for 2023, and Halo starts now. I'm FBI Tub Bottom here with my man Sam Talks. Sam, how are we doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm excited to be able to talk Halo, to be able to see how these high school students are going to be able to, take this sort of winter break that they had and really be able to push it forward to show us the best possible Halo that we are going to be seeing from them.
Absolutely, absolutely. As is tradition, January is used for setting these competitions up and whatnot, practice and everything else like that, and that is just all the more true here for the HSL Halo high school competitions. We are looking at what 2 weeks preseason. 2 weeks preseason is over. This is the first week of actual competition here, Sam. The first of 8, stretching all the way into, I believe, the last week of March will be the playoffs and whatnot.
Yeah, so it's a long road ahead for all of our teams. We have 58 teams, so a lot of high schools are going to be going at it. They want to go ahead and we're going to see what just they're capable of and how they're going to be able to push themselves. Now, 8 weeks, like I said, a long time. So we're going to be seeing maybe some improvements over the course of this time period. We're going to see how the teams are going to fare off in this first week as they're going up against each other. And then what we could be seeing on week 8, a completely different team.
Absolutely. What, some ups, some downs. That's how these participations go. Some Cinderella runs as well as some train wrecks. Now, given that this is again just the very beginning of the season, we don't have a whole lot to go off of. But let's start to talk a little bit about these two schools. We have FSHS. That is Fort Scott High School. That is the Tiger Esports and the Red Squad. Fort Scott sending in multiple teams here, Sam. And then we have them taking on the Andover Trojans. That is the A Squad as well. So Andover Trojans sending multiple teams into the HSEL High School Halo competitions.
Which is a good sign, I think, for both of these schools to
Oh yeah.
showing off how much they want to be a part of Halo Esports and how many teams that they're sending into this. And I think one of the really cool things about it as well, Tug, we're seeing high school students doing this. So we could be seeing the next potential professional players blossoming right in front of us, really starting to find their footing and finding who they want to be inside of esports. And this is always what makes the high school scene so exciting and so impactful on the future of what we could be seeing out of Halo.
Exactly. The next generation of esports players. I am no longer at 31 beautiful years old. I am no longer the target market for esports. I hate to break it to you, Sam. Yes, but the next generation of esports players here with HSEL powered by Gen E. It's just thematical. It's just thematical here, people. We are looking at live fire strongholds first, as is tradition. We'll be looking at winners coming in and picking maps afterwards. The losing squad picking maps, the winning squad picking other things as we go from maps 2, 3, 4, and then possibly 5 if we go the distance here, Sam.
Absolutely. And I think starting off with live fire strongholds is a really great way for both of our teams. Week 1, right? A lot of jitters on the line, a lot of nerves possibly impacting how they're going to be able to play. So this is a really great way to get warmed up. We've had that preseason, but now we're in the real meat of things. We're here in seeing what these teams are going to be capable of. Live fire, fantastic map, the sort of the Halo map in my opinion, or at least one of the Halo maps at the very least. So this is a really great way, I think, for both of our teams to figure out, okay, we got to get the cogs turned a little bit. We got to get things oiled up, and then once we do, well, this could be an explosive first match.
Absolutely. Live fire, there's no rockets available. There is the sniper available here, power-ups, spike grenades, and more. And it's not symmetrical. I think Halo maps of the past have really shown true on the symmetrical. Obviously, CTF, you really need a more symmetrical map, something that's just evenly divided right down the middle, both teams with even allowance to get to various power-ups, power weapons, everything else like that, and power positions, of course. I want to give a big shout out here to all of our production staff as well. If your name is not FBI Tugboat or Sam Talks and you're helping to put on this competition here from Gen E, from HSEL, whichever, we appreciate you. On the day that is first night of knee, and that is Polaroid Panda producing away, making our jobs as casters just so much easier, and we do appreciate that. Sam and I are just two guys screaming about esports in our rooms without our production staff. So what's up, Sam?
Exactly. I mean, we got the easiest job, right? We get to sit here and be able to enjoy some fantastic esports. They have the hard job making us look good. And that's not easy, I'll tell you that much.
Well, it is not. It is not. You see this face? It's hard to make this one look good. That's why we got the voice going. And also, hey, any fans of first-person shooters, if there's any fans of first-person shooters here in this chat, well, stay tuned. don't tune away, because we will have a little bit of announcements as far as other tournaments that will be put on here at Generation E, and this is not something that you guys are going to have to wait a very long time for. You're going to have to wait a little bit of time to find out exactly what it is that I'm talking about. But you're not going to have to wait a whole long time for those competitions, because they will be starting in the next couple of weeks. That's how much I'm willing to give you. FPS competitions put on by Jenny in the next couple of weeks as a start time. That's it. That's it. You got to stay tuned for the rest of the juice, right? The rest of the tea.
The rest of the tea, the rest of the juice all coming up here. And I think we actually have a game coming up very soon, Tugboat, that we're going to be able to really dive into and see just what FSHS and Andover are made of. This is really exciting, though, to be able to step foot and see, okay, what have these teams been working on in the preseason? What have they really been trying to work on? How have they been able to improve since the preseason? And really, what are they going to be able to show off to all of us here at HSEL?
Yeah, what multi-kills, team coordination, team shooting, everything else like that coming in here for live fire on map number 1, especially on strongholds.
Yeah,
it's the constant question here: which do you hold? Mostly, I'm thinking you really want to try and hold down A and C. B is just an area that you can keep spawn your opposing team spawn trapped into, whether that's Riverside, whether that's down low, or even over onto OS side. Obviously, less distance is the name of the game. FSHS Red, henceforth referred to as Fort Scott. I think that'd be a little bit easier. Or just the Tigers, left side the red, the Andover Trojans on the right side in the blue. We're going to be looking at Trojans looking to infiltrate this first game, and the Tigers taking a bite out of the competition. I don't know.
I thought that was pretty smooth, honestly.
Thanks.
It's good. Very good. All right, but we already got it right off the bat. It looks like straight up the Trojans, they want to go over right to B. Make sure to pick that up real quick. And it seems like someone was able to pick up the sniper rifle. I don't quite know who was able to pick it up, but look at what the Trojans are doing right now. Slapping them all over the place. The Tigers just none the wiser.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of Fort Scott members dropping early. Heating Fiend now dropping that sniper as well. Did find a kill with it. We're going to have a few rounds left in that before to battle. Let's go ahead and introduce these teams. I'll run through Fort Scott. This is SEK Country Guy, M. Kramer, excuse me, Folk, and Heating Fiend over here for your Fort Scott High School Red Squad.
Indeed so. On one side of the Trojans, we have Gamer 2000, Sea Dragon 789, Sam Jam, and one last person, but unfortunately I missed it. There we go, Robotron. Great names, great players, and it seems like so far with the way that things are turning out, the Trojans, look at Sea Dragon, took 7 kills on the board, and we've just started. We're not even a minute in yet.
Well, yeah, no assists necessary, no deaths, that's unfashionable. AR in hand, that's going to be a little bit of trade action right there. Not 1, not 2, but 3 different melee kills right there. As the Andover Trojans now taking a couple losses of their own. Progress completely deleted for the Andover Trojans. These Fort Scott not going to get doubled up on for the time being. 50-0 right now, though.
Yeah, it just seems to be like the Tigers haven't been able to find their footing and how they want to go and take on the Trojans. The Trojans have just been, so far, mechanically at the very least, a lot more dominating it. With the way that the Tigers are looking right now, they're going to be able to pick up at the very least A and C. But as soon as they did, they're not even able to get a single tick on the board before the Trojans already back on top of A, getting it right back under their control.
Yeah, A and B, not a bad selection right here. C side will just obviously give up a whole lot of positioning. Poke right now. Drags in more. Dust out B. We've seen it before. We will see it again. OS in hand, looking for the solid snipe. Can't quite get that. The OS does come through, and that damage was negated from the very wise and clutch timing of that OS pop right there. So now C getting a little bit of love, but as we see earlier, A going back over the way of Fort Scott.
And finally, we do see the Tigers getting themselves on the board 51-6, but right back over to the Trojans, B and C. And it seems like the Trojans are just big fans of wanting to make sure that they are in control of B. They like to have that mid-map presence that allows them to be able to rotate whenever they need to, and whichever side they want to go to, whether it's A or C, is going to be good. And Sea Dragon is just unstoppable. They've been able to go right up there onto the catwalk and take out 2 in a double kill, now getting C back under their control.
Shot sniper as well. Last little bit of OS burning through there. Sea Dragon catching a little bit of flack right now as C is getting a lot of love from Fort Scott. They're able to take this. They'll start taking points off their own. 58-15 right now, and it starts. B mostly being neglected, as it seems like members of the Andover Trojans now just flooding on into A, making it their own, and this is now a pretty primo setup on the side of the Trojans.
Now Sam Jam chilling out on B, making sure that it is defended at all costs, trying to get their shields back up. Unfortunately found out by Bolt, but that is going to be traded almost immediately. So still the Trojans having that A and B side, working their way up towards the triple digits, and so far doesn't seem like anyone has been able to stop them. And there you have it, Gamer coming up with a double kill. Another one for the side of the Trojans. And they just seem content though right now, Tug. A and B, as long as they have two of the strongholds under their control, that is it.
Yeah, and taking a look at the numbers, Mason. There's only one player in the side of the Trojans that is negative as of right now. Sam Jam, a couple assists to boot. Not a bad look. A little bit of a different situation over there for the Fort Scott folks. Speaking of folk, 8-6 as of right now, 7-5, hitting Fiend, unfortunately. Big outlier right here. It's like SEK Country guys 0-8 right now. No assist either, which is just a little bit surprising, honestly.
It seems like they're just having difficulties coming online and really trying to understand where exactly they want to go. Now we're going to have Kramer setting their sights onto C, but immediately turned away, and in their attempt to run back to the safety of A, killed off by a grenade. But for the Tigers, in control of A and B. B, though, not for long.
Yeah, the big difference right here is the Andover Trojans are just team-shotting a little bit more. We kind of saw that exemplified by Kramer just running down mid solo dolo. I think 3 different members got at least one burst onto him, eventually finished out with that grenade, with that frag, always chasing feet.
Yeah, it's
another one, Gamer. Go ahead.
No, it really just comes down to the team play that we're having from the Trojans. It's whenever one person is under any sort of fire, they're able to dip out, do a little bit of damage, and then someone almost immediately, like what we're seeing here, is able to come up, but here we have it, Heating Fiend gets the double kill, where things were looking like it was going to go sideways for them, was actually able to turn it right back around on their head, but still not able to get onto C-side, still not able to make that happen. But now we're seeing the Tigers really starting to do that teamwork thing that we've been talking about.
Teamwork makes the dream work. That is definitely one of the themes you want to extend here within the high school competitions, Scholastic, any other kind of colleges, really. 25 seconds left on that sniper, and it looked like Sea Dragon was just trying to get out of the wave danger. Well, the getting was good. Didn't quite happen right there on board with Kramer right now, staring down the barrel of 2 players. That's the team shots that we're looking for, at least initially. Oh, no. Can't get it going right there. Player stays alive, keeps the life, and puts pressure on the other side. Meanwhile, though, AC, that air conditioning hold, right? It's going to be Fort Scott right now, taking points.
It's just really unfortunate for Fort Scott. All right, now we have the overshields back under control of Sam Jam, and that's going to give them so much to be able to work around with. Get the reversal, too, on top of that. Now it's setting their sights back over to A with the only one member of the Tigers who can really defend against it. And you look at that leaderboard, everybody was respawning. The only one up and alive was Bolt, who's trying their best to do whatever they can to stay alive. But the Trojans, they're just on control. What is Sea Dragon doing? A triple kill for them.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Biting off heads over here. We've seen, you know, it's always a question, like, will we see the okie doke? Will we see the overkill here? Will we see 4 of them back to back in the first game? Oh, yeah, Sea Dragon just got 3 of them. 8 assists, 18-6 right now. Hands down the best numerical player here in the first door Fort Scott. Taking it on the river, putting folk down where he stands, and then going over and trying to give him B.
Now he's got the heat wave in hand, he's ready to start pushing forward, pops the shields, but not able to get the kill. It's actually turned around right on their heads in the attempt to go for C. Maybe a little overconfidence, maybe thinking they had that under control, but now we have the contestation coming on to A, and it's going to be a mad dash from the Tigers to make sure that they're not able to get it. But it seems like they are going to be able to get the flip, but not hold on to it.
Got a wall, sniper in hand, looking for the one shot. There's a solid shot. Nicely done, folk, the reversal. What are we talking about? It was almost.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, not a single worry in their mind, not a single worry in their heart. They are able to secure that once more. Scoreline still, though, looking a little worrying for the Tigers, but they are able. They're working on making up some lost ground, and they're trying to do that as quickly and cleanly as they possibly can. Nervous parts here that's going to have me worried is the fact that they do try to go for that B push. They try to go for that B site, and in doing so, split themselves off. And we're seeing what exactly is happening here. Every time they try to go for the Trojans, just clapping back on them so hard. Now we're going to have the overshield come back up. Baited it, though. It was just baiting, waiting. Sea Dragon was waiting for it. They had the sniper rifle in hands.
Beautiful timing. Trigger discipline, I believe, is what it's called. Just simply waiting for the optimal time. You know, you see him shoot any more shots over the top. Why wouldn't you? Nicely done right there. See, now getting taken over by the Fort Scott squad. And I can't agree with you more on your earlier point there, Sam. You have two of them. Just go for a slow burn right now, or at least try and get like a player or two down, then push. As it is, 3 players are going to score, and they all get damage from the same frag. Not ideal.
No, it's not, and it's really, you can see what's happening to the Tigers right now. They had the idea, you know, you want to go for those grandiose plays sometimes, or those really risky plays where you want to try and go for all of the sites, the strongholds, to be able to get yourself the points that you need, but it just hasn't been working out. We might actually see it work out here, though, that all sites have been captured by the Tigers now, and this is where the points are really going to start rolling in. This is where the points are going to really start coming into their favor, but they're not able to take advantage of it for too long before, guess what, the Trojans have swarmed all over them once more.
There you go. So clearing B is ideal. You know, that is good. But I mean, which would you rather have, right? On the one hand, you got like 6 seconds of doubling up for a total of 12 points, or if you can put this Trojan team down, especially on like 2 full team respawns, looking at a lot more just taking a slower pace. As it is, like pedal to the metal. I'm not against it here for Fort Scott.
No, I'm not, and I'm definitely liking, at the very least, some of the boldness and the attempts that they're making. They have been able to claw back some points, points on the leaderboard to allow themselves to continue to be able to stand forward in this match, and it seems like they're doing a fantastic job at it so far, but the Trojans have a lead and a half right now, especially with them being able to stare down with less than 50 points to go of getting to that win here on the first map of Live Fire. Picking up the attempt to pick up the overshield, but they are going to go down. Trojans, though, not able to hold on.
We're watching Halo. Apparently it's a boxing match as everybody falls to melees right there. B and C right now, but C immediately gets that little bit of attention. The Andover Trojans get there for a half a second, but now it's Sam Jam. I think that teammate is Robotron behind. Again, just taking a look at the numbers. This is rather impressive that Fort Scott is able to, they only have 1 player positive, Hulk 21-15 as of right now. Now, look, obviously those assists are just as important, but it's really, really inspiring that Fort Scott is only down by about 60 points with everybody on the side of the Trojans positive.
Which just goes to show you,
game's even.
Yeah, the tenacity that we're having from Fort Scott to want to continue to push and want to continue to make this happen. And they're getting the kills. They're actually making this work for themselves.
Oh, yeah.
A is going to be flipped over to the Trojans, though. And so now it's going to be a mad dash to make sure they don't get too much out of that by putting their pressure onto C. And they're trying to go up through mid. It's just going to be met by Sea Dragon. And so far, Sea Dragon has just been unstoppable at really pushing onto these points and really making that aggression work for them.
Was that a stick? Oh, I thought that was a ground stick on the other side, right? I was gonna say, player can't help but finding kills like he's finding into the pocket or something like that. I don't know. Back to the middle right here we go, Gamer. I think that people may have lived in mid for like 2.5, 3 seconds at max so far. Just obviously optimal positioning, being closer to this bags area if you don't have to push through there. B and C right now. Wow, okay, excuse me. Fort Scott has really just done great work at negating this lead down to 25 points right now.
It's unbelievable what they've been able to do here and how they've been able to get this back for themselves. And with the Trojans so close to victory, that's also kind of the points where you're like starting to make a little bit of mistakes here and there. You really just want to close out the game as quickly as you can. And for the Tigers, it seems they're taking advantage of that. They are going full speed ahead in making sure that they are going to really put the pressure on the Trojans.
I say when it comes to the power-ups, it's one of those metrics I'd love to have, like a ticker-wise, like who takes OS. I think that this has mostly been this Andover squad. An embarrassing.
Ooh.
Okay, so Sea Dragon puts a couple shots to the thigh on the very last. We were talking about the advantage OS provides. Well, nothing doing there. Sam Jam wins the 1v1 right here. Going to be taking C, 15 points away from an Andover Trojans win in map number 1.
Alright, we're going to see. Less than 10 seconds ago. Denied those 10 left. Alright, now C has been saved. The Trojans very close to making that victory happen, making that victory possible. And Sea Dragon at the very last second manages to get the last headshot in order to stay alive through it. And there you will see it. There it is right in front of our faces, Tug. Andover Trojans 250. All
even-handed game. If we're just looking at, what, like proportionally, it's like, 3/4, something like this, right? 180 to 240 or something like this. This is not a game that Fort Scott should feel bad about whatsoever. First real game of the season after the preseason, right, or the regular season, I should say. And this is just very, very minor mistakes that they were playing, and minor mistakes that literally we saw towards the beginning of the game. They got actively improved on as we came towards the last. I think they were down by almost 100 points at one point. Ending this one down, 59 points, not too shabby by any means. Looking at Slayer next.
Yeah, not at all. For a team that usually when you go that far behind, that's when the mentals really start kicking in. That's where you start maybe doubting yourself at some points. But, first game, you're getting warmed up. You're getting the teamwork, the coordination back under control. And for what we just saw there with how close that score line was and how far it was at one point, to be able to get all of that points back and to be able to end that map where you did, going into Slayer, that's going to be something that you can have at the back of your head, that we're down, but we're not out.
Oh, not by any means. I mean, just based on how this game one went, I would kind of be surprised if this was a sweep, if there was a 3-0 all the way for the Trojans all the way through here. Not that this is a bad squad by any means, just that this has been incredibly competitive up to this point. The thing is, though, right, we're going on to Slayer next. Like everything else, just objective game mode, Slayer here, Halo being one of the last first-person shooters to really have an actual just like straight-up kill teammate, and however many times you kill teammate, once you get to 50, you win. We'll be looking at how that game plan kind of changes here, because if we're looking at relevant mistakes that were made, again, minor mistakes, but relevant mistakes that were made from the objective here onto the Slayer, the team shots for Andover Trojans might really go forth to prove the big defining factor in this game number 2.
Absolutely, I agree, and especially with where we might be going, there's a lot of different choices for Slayer, and then you have to readjust that mindset. Now, for the way that I do believe that this worked, so the winner of this previous game, which is going to be Andover, they're going to ban a map, and then the Tigers, they're going to choose their next map. And so they're going to go to a place that they feel the most comfortable on. Where can they get the power weapons? Where can they really succeed on? And apparently they think that they can do that, Tug, on streets.
On streets, another not symmetrical map. Do have the rocket launcher here, do have plenty of spikes, plasma grenades, and everything else like that. No power up, though. No power up on this one. So the value that the Trojans were able to garner earlier, not going to see it here. Also, of course, got that stalker rifle, kind of like the pseudo sniper, like a DMR, I guess you'd call it. Here, 2 shots to the body, 1 to the head, is faster than a perfect 4-shot with the BR, but not that much. So it's really a skillful weapon all the way through as well. Going to be Street Slayer here. It is all more important here on the streets. My point earlier about team shotting and whatnot, especially given how open these 3 lanes on this map are.
That's something that we touched on, right, with the Tigers versus the Trojans. The Trojans had really good team play. They were able to sort of plug the holes of the ship when one member was weak. Another one was able to come in and sort of finish off what they needed to do. We started to see that from the Tigers towards the later end. It seemed like they wanted to go Maverick. They were really testing the waters on if they were going to be able to. But now they have to bring it back. Towards the end, we saw them bring it back. Towards the end, we saw more of that team play that we wanted from the team. And I think here in Slayer, this is going to be even more so important to be able to make sure that you're going to work together as a team to secure those kills, to be able to get the high-value power weapons like the rocket launcher, because that rocket launcher can completely change the momentum of whichever team is in control of it.
100% agreed. It is not a skill-less weapon. It's just more straightforward. How about that? Using the neutral terms here, Sam. Using the neutral terms.
I can't think
as far
of
as map control. Sorry?
No, I couldn't think of anything more straightforward than blowing up your enemy.
Exactly. Now one of the 2 rockets in there, and nobody actually mad dashing for that one quite yet. Both teams actually opted to kind of stick away from it right now. Red side is the ideal, and the first gun picked up is the shotgun. Good guess.
That would be working like that. We got some Sentinel beam action on the field as well. The Rockets control of somebody right now. There it is. Goes right out. Unfortunately, doesn't get the kill, but does pop the shields to allow them to convert it into a kill. Now all by themselves. And you see just how the Tigers are working now that they're in Team Slayer. This is a team that is putting a lot of pressure on the Trojans, and so far the Trojans are on the back foot.
Yeah, this has just been a Tiger squad that has just held W thus far. Obviously, most of them probably playing on controller, but 8-3 as of right now. Only 2 of these really in the sense like, oh, they were given over by the Rockets right there. This is about as good as it gets. A full team wipe, plus some necessary for the Trojans to come back at this. Now 7. Talking about the outliers here. Sea Dragon has been put in their place, 0-3 as of right now. Still plenty of gameplay to be had, of course. But folks still absolutely on a tear, 6-1 right now with the system.
Both wanted to really show themselves off and what they're capable of and translate that from live fire here onto streets, and has been working out so well for them for now. But now we're looking at the Trojans being able to get their footing back once more and putting the pressure onto the Tigers. And it seems like for the moment we're kind of at the standstill, each team poking and prodding at each other, but not wanting to engage.
Yeah, this is like a whole Tiger squad on B side, and the Trojans only have one player that was attempting to flank. That was Sea Dragon, doesn't find it. And now a lot of pressure onto A down bottom. That's an exposed position right here for Gamer, but that's a perfect way to team shot and just allow your teammates to get out of this situation.
And indeed so, and it seems like for the Tigers, they got a little impatient. They wanted to really go forward, go fast, and go hard. But they didn't do it together was the biggest problem, and now the Trojans were able to pick them off one by one. A rocket, okay, yeah, and then a nice plasma grenade.
That's the kind of explosive kills we like to see. A courageous attempt, we'll call that a bold attempt, we'll call it, as Sea Dragon gets put down. Bulldog will bite. Pushing on over to C is now the Andover Trojans are going to have a little bit of a split spawn type situation. Now, all of them there, last 2 players coming up to C, but 2 of them pushing on over towards steps and to the side. Nicely done, team shots, folk knows it. So last player alive over here on C, and you just have to put pressure on the steps, and this should be an easier kill on the inside. If this gets a 4th player from the Trojans spawn over here, that is money.
And Sea Dragon's all by themselves, so they're going to have to really play this cautiously. The shields are also gone, and so now with the push, look at how this coordination is coming in from the Trojans. Sea Dragon straight up in the backline sees 2 that they could possibly go for. They don't get the double kill, but they still, at the very least, help to make this flank work possible and really put the pressure on the Tigers.
It's interesting stuff. I guess they just assumed that that last Trojan player had rotated run over towards B and just sit down, get shield back, and flank. It's about as good as it gets.
It really does.
Over towards B right now. That's in PD where Trojans are kind of holding right now. That's the last player, and yeah, if you jump into the middle of 4, that's going to happen.
All right, there it is. The Trojans, they are slowly but surely closing the gap that we saw. A huge one from the Tigers, but now they're faltering. Their roar not as loud as it was when we first started this match off. It's 22-21, only 1 kill away from tying things up here. Rockets are now up in the hands of Heating Fiend. Is he heating, or is he going to be overheating? Used both of those rockets, but they were able to get a kill at the very least.
I think got shields on the player in bottom A right there, but it's always hard to kind of get those angles. The last one just kind of giving up. Don't want to give that one over. Sea Dragon put down yet again, 4-8 as of right now, and my goodness, Robotron and the Gamer both popping off, basically doubling up right now. 10-5 Gamer, Robotron 9-6 right there after 1. Everybody on the side of the Tigers either even or positive. Kramer actually, excuse me, 4-6 right now, so a little bit less negative, but I mean, 4 assists to Food. This Heating Fiend is going off right now, 11-8 for this player.
A stalker rifle in their hands was kind of scary, but now it's gone back over into Country Guy's hands. And so now, whether or not they hold on to it or give it back over to the destruction that was Heating Fiend, that's going to be the real question. Now, the Tigers, 11, both 2 members inside of their team, sitting at 11 kills, with only 1 death differential between the 2 of those, have been really just showing what this team is capable of. Now they don't have to worry about no stinking objective. All they need to do is frag out here, and they are fragging hard.
Absolutely. And also, all of these teams are really opting, looking for the triple. Not going to happen. That was incredibly exciting, but oh well. Sea Dragon ending this one out, but then falling to... Wow, was that a trade, actually, on the other side between Sam and
It was.
I think that might have been both. Wow, it all goes down in PD, apparently. This is always where you go and hold ball, like, generally, when you're playing ball on this. Street's not always, like, the best ball map. A lot of people like that one. But PD in that corner is always where it's being held. As it is, both teams doing a great job of kind of recognizing these spawn traps as they're coming in, and then just collapsing or alleviating pressure when they realize they may not be.
I love what I'm seeing here, though, from poor Scott this time around on this map, is the fact that we're seeing a lot more team play from them, but if they need to, they're also going for those really bold maneuvers. Another double kill, this time on the side of Kramer. This is a team that definitely, you can see the much more confidence coming out in how they're able to execute their plans on Team Slayer, which has been working out immaculately so far. The aggression, even when they get punished, they're able to bring it back and still make it work for themselves. And just catching the Trojans out in so many rough places. Sea Dragon, all alone though, no shields, gonna have to rely on their teammates to protect them and keep them alive while the shields come back up. And it seems like it's gonna be good enough. The Disruptor actually coming up big with a kill.
I love how these members are not neglecting the generally not accepted power weapons, right? The Disruptor here, so a Mangler action sauce, and they are action over on Live Fire as well, using all the tools in the sandbox. Here, either having stuck or they have not been made. Looking at Robotron, little double right here is the Trojans looking to negate this difference. They were down by like 8 a couple minutes ago. Shaving this down to 3 is ideal, but we are approaching the end of this Slayer map.
I can't believe it. The Trojans, both of these teams, even when they're on the out and out, they're able to step up, stand up, and start shouting right back at their enemy, and proving that they're not to be discounted until the very moment we see the victory screen come up here. But for the Tigers, only 4 more kills left to go. They need to be playing perfectly. They cannot allow the Trojans to get any momentum on their side whatsoever. And for the Trojans, it seems like they're just funneling themselves. They're throwing bodies at them, one after another.
Yeah.
Just give the Tigers free kills.
Yeah, not ideal, especially now down to a 2-kill differential. What we're looking at is like 3 frags placed well across 4 different players. That'd be enough to take this one. 1 kill, 6 to go. Here's low. Sam Jam knows it. Taking it to the upside. That's at least 1 back to the way. This would be a hold for the centuries. Not going to happen. The Trojans. We have been guaranteed a map 4, as the series has basically been boiled down from a best of 5 to a best of 3 at this point. But the most unideal, the least ideal, I guess would be a better way to put that, situation when you lose a player, ball CTF, which is like, just like you stated, perfectly stated, that, rocking that flag, not going to have an active gun on the field. Oddball taken up, now picked up, tried to toss it over the left side, couldn't quite get it there, and, you know, well, we'll give the Trojans the sword play, right, given they're down 3.
So, looks like Sea Dragon's gonna try and use that. They did get 1, but that is all they're gonna be rewarded for with that sword, and it's gonna be taken off the field, given over to the Tigers, so that's gonna continue to give themselves just that little bit more advantage time and time again. Now that the oddball has been picked up, it is going to be in the hands of the Tigers, who are now starting to work themselves back towards another win.
SEK country guy right there would have fallen likely to a frag grenade after that, but putting that beer into a corner for a couple of seconds to try and get that ball back, and now teammate has it, and this is just moving ball all the way up. The 4-shot squad can afford to lose like a member on the repositions consistently and still have
And you're just seeing it's the issues that are coming in right now with missing that 1 player. It's just the sheer numbers on the side of the Tigers. They just keep throwing it over and over, but when you have power weapons as the equalizer, it seems like how much more are they going to be able to do with it? No way, gamer!
So Fort Scott opts to pick up the slice and dice, try and make sushi right here. You know, a lot of times, certain equipment, hardware is G8, is gentleman's agreement within the game. We'll give it to the Andover Trojans, but hey, Fort Scott picking it up. Still remaining competitive, we'll say. How about that?
So far, I mean, for the Tigers, they've only gotten 13 seconds on the board, and now the Trojans in control of that oddball. It's not going to be for long, but still with the way that they've been playing, it's been so good here. Heating Fiend gets that double kill, in control of the oddball once more, waiting for an opportunity for the rest of the team to come back. They're going to go ahead, give it up to Country Guy. They're feeling a little bit more confident in letting Heating Fiend, who's 7-2 right now, continue this domination that they've been having with a stick kill already to start things off.
Fantastic trade right there. A trade that the Trojans can't continue to make, but this is the push on over Turbine into A. SEK Country Guy actually left by themselves. Doesn't matter. Got the support there. Side a little bit more, and another reversal right here as the Trojans go down 3 of them.
Eagle team halfway.
The big thing here is that the Tigers, Fort Scott, still has that oddball, still has 2 members left alive. Once the respawns come in, anytime the Trojans are able to make just that little bit of extra pressure, that dent in the armor, it immediately gets fixed. Because it's just, they have that advantage, they have that numbers. And anytime someone on the side of the Trojans goes down, it makes it more and more difficult. Gamer falls once more. The Tigers still operating at peak efficiency. They don't need to go anywhere. They can just hang out here for the entire game.
It's entirely fair. I mean, an A side to hold, especially given 4-3, not going to have as much of a need to toss this one off. There's also a Fort Scott Tigers squad that can spread their players across this map as well, and even just use their positioning, right? It's just the simple fact of, hey, player there and he's dead, to kind of get that one. Round 1 easily going the way of the numerical advantage squad.
Elimination.
And you really see the advantage of having the numbers on your side. You're able to cover all angles. If one falls, someone else can just go and pick up the oddball to even things back out once more. For the Trojans, they did put up a really good fight at that initial moment, but once the Tigers were able to set up, once they were able to hide out on that A side, on the high ground, there was really no chance for the Trojans to get it back under control.
Yeah, 100%. This is gold side hold right now. Be surprised if this really moved anywhere except for maybe down long over closer towards that open side. Sword in hand, Sam Jam takes it. Sam Jam really popping off in the Slayer earlier. I mean, and not the 5-8. 5-8 is nothing to cry home about. But outside of that, 9-6, 8-6. Trojans, at least getting it done in the slaying department.
And here's where things could really go well for the Trojans, being inside of this close quarters, having that sword in Sam Jam's hands. It's going to have to be making sure that they have the communications between the teammates to really make sure that they're capitalizing on being able to use it. And unfortunately for Sam Jam, has given up the sword, and Kramer blasting away with it almost immediately. It's going to continue to hold on to that skull. But for now, Tigers, full force, everyone back with each other. It's going to be tough for the Trojans now.
Opt into different roles and whatnot. Sword in hand, no charge left on it. That's going to be, is that a trade or even maybe a W right there? Negalo shields for folk. No, Andover. Trojans lose all 3. 43, 44 we go. Again, not much of a reason for the Fort Scott squad to leave the top hold.
No reason whatsoever. Maybe small adjustments here and there inside that area. But anyone who tries to attempt to come through from the Trojans, they have a little bit more room to work around with, and a really good stick, actually, is going to open the door wide open for the Trojans to walk inside and actually be able to get control of that skull once more. It all started with a really phenomenal stick.
63 up against about 30 now. That does have the Invis in hand here. We're looking at Heating Fiend their way through pipes. This will be a fantastic rotation. Look him dead in the eyes. No, Sam is actually going to be the one that sees it and puts them down right there. Not 1 but 2 kills for the Trojans. Just absolutely filling up top gold with nades right now. That is not a bad idea all the way through 55. My eyes deceive me. 3-team Andover Trojans about to tie this one back up.
They were so very close to being able to tie it up, but the Tigers were able to get it right back into their control. It's going to become that little bit much more difficult with the kill onto Heating Fiend, but with the way that things are working, with how far away the rest of the Trojans are to be able to initiate this push, it's not going to be likely to take it back, and they're not checking their corner. So guess what happens, Tug? A little tap in the back, and you're gone.
Happy trap in the backy back. It's going to be enough. 87-88. 13 seconds away for Trojans to take this, put a game 3 away. Last push coming in here. 4 seconds to go. Again, got to fill up this top area with nades. It's not going to be enough. 99-100. And the Tigers take map 3.
Whew. I got to give it to the Trojans, though, Tug. With only 3 players, that is nothing short of a miracle with what they were able to do with what they had on hand and still putting up like a phenomenal fight. That the Tigers, they were struggling a little bit here and there, even with the amount of people that they had on their team. Oddball is a little difficult to be able to, especially when you're down a member. So maybe what we're seeing from the Trojans is they're hoping as they approach into the next maps that maybe they might be able to, well, win.
That's fair. That's fair. It'll be a tough task and a rough ask right here. But really, as I've said before, the most important time in this matchup is right now, is the comms that's going on between these two teams. What do you want to do again? What do you want to not allow to have happen? CTF coming up next here will be the same kind of like rougher look, but of course, you don't have to hold the flag. It's all about juggling at this point. Get the chainsaws out, right? That's exactly the problem.
Right.
It's gonna have to feel for a 3-man Andover Trojan squad. We got Aquarius next as well. Aquarius confirmed for the CTF map.
Indeed so. And Aquarius is, I think, a really good choice for the side of the Trojans. They're able to really take advantage of a lot of the cover that Aquarius is going to be able to afford for them. Not a major power weapon here that they're going to be able to take advantage of, but of course the active camo in the middle is going to give them a lot of rooms to, like a lot of options to be able to work around with. And for the Trojans, we saw, okay, like they were at least most of the time able to pick up the camo that we saw on recharge. And so I think the Tigers, they got it like once, and they weren't even really able to use it to its greatest effectiveness at the very least. And so now as we go,
sorry, go ahead. My bad.
No, go ahead. Yeah. Well, I was just what I'm saying, because Aquarius is just like that map where being able to have control of that camo with a man down is going to be pivotal to their success.
So yeah, especially if they can get camo, the 3-man squad, the Trojans, if they can get camo and then have that player pick up and nobody actually witnesses them doing so, then they will stay completely cloaked all the way in through, just as long, of course, as you don't make a big deal out of sprinting or throwing the flag and whatnot. That might be like the nail.
Flag returned. flag returned. Flag taken. Flag returned. Cobra flag returned. Flag taken. Flag taken. Flag returned. Cobra flag captured. Flag taken. Flag taken. Flag returned. Flag taken. Flag returned. Eagle flag captured. Flag taken. Flag taken. Eagle flag returned. Cobra flag returned. Flag taken. flag returned. Eagle flag returned. Flag taken. Eagle flag captured. Flag taken. Eagle flag captured.
"4-1 for Andover. That's an accomplishment in and of itself with only 3 players on a CTF game mode.
Yeah, and like given that like the situation that the Trojans found themselves in, this basically should have been like 3-1, right? They just poured it all into offense. There was no defense whatsoever in the past like 60 seconds. Why would we? Given that we're down by 2, you got to go forth and at least try right there. The last one just kind of what I guess in traditional football or American football would be called garbage time scores, right? 3-1 basically, 4-1, what doesn't matter. The numerical advantage, Tiger Squad coming in a 3-1 victory on the series here. Now we got that is not it for Halo either. That's not it for Halo either. We got another competition after this one. I believe we're going to get the matchups and exactly which teams are going to be playing here in just a bit, but I teased it enough, right? I teased it enough.
Ooh.
Let's go ahead and talk about some of these other FPS competitions here. Just this next week as well. I told you, first-person shooter players, 10 days and 20 hours from right now. There's a counter on the Ginny website. The Overwatch 2 Summit Qualifier Numero Uno. That is going to be 5 rounds of Swiss play. Obviously played in a first to 3 right there. And that's going to be on Saturday, the 18th. The 19th is going to be that top 16 from Saturday, coming on to your standard single elimination playoff bracket. Now, there's going to be plenty of cashola distributed here as well, and we're going to be having a third place finish. That is first place $400, second place $200, third place $100. And you guys can check this out and get all of that information over there on the Generation Esports website. Now, I'm not done. I'm not done here. Got another competition the next. Not going to be Overwatch, not going to be Halo. We're looking at a little Call of Duty action. Same kind of setup, though. Saturday, 5 rounds, Swiss play, best of 3. Then Sunday, same kind of thing. Top 16 from Saturday, moving on along for a single elimination bracket. And the same prize differential as well. $400 in the first, $200 in the second, $100 going to third, and obviously going to be playing that third place match. Now, this next match here for Halo is not going to be enough for another 40 minutes or so, so it's going to be a little bit more of a break. Sam, do you have anything else for the good people before we go to that break?
I don't think so, except for congratulations to both of our teams. It was a really awesome first match. It was just really unfortunate for Andover, but still, be able to put forth the showing that they did. I mean, awesome stuff.
Yeah. Especially the CTF. Like once they tied it up 1-1, it was just like inspirational. It was like, I believe in miracles,
Right?
Sam. Yeah. Back with you guys just a little bit here for the HSEL Halo Spring 23 competitions.